It's so insulting. I mean, LeBron could hardly look at me, and Rich Paul and Maverick and everybody losing their damn mind. I'm number 2 all time in the history of basketball, and that's an insult. I'm simply saying his youth. You didn't know about basketball. You wouldn't know about basketball if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. What the hell are you talking about? So let's see. You can talk all that junk all you want to, but there's levels to this.
The Jordan versus LeBron debate never dies. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't fade away. It doesn't take a single night off. Why? Because LeBron James can drop 40. He can break Kareem's scoring record. He can carry teams for 2 decades straight. And still, the moment his name comes up, it gets stacked against Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's the way to the crown. That's a shadow nobody has escaped. And when Stephen A. Smith steps to the MIC, this debate doesn't just get louder. It erupts. He doesn't hedge. He doesn't dance. He doesn't sprinkle in soft disclaimers. His voice cuts like a knife. His delivery is thunder, and his perspective is immovable. There's Jordan, and then there's everyone else. Period. Not because LeBron isn't great. He is. Not because LeBron hasn't defied time. He has. But because the bar Jordan created is so unreal, so absurd, so unforgiving, that every other comparison feels like blasphemy. Stephen A. always begins by giving LeBron his flowers, because how can you not? 4 championships, 4 league MVPs, 19 All-NBA selections, the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, 22 seasons of dominance. That resume isn't just good. It isn't just historic. It's once in a lifetime. In almost any other era, on almost any other measuring stick, it would be enough to declare a man the unquestioned greatest. But then, Stephen A. drops the hammer. Put those numbers side by side with Jordan's, and the shine fades. Jordan's 6 championships, his 5 MVPs, his 6 finals MVPs, 10 scoring titles, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and the jewel of the crown, 6-0 in the NBA Finals. No collapses, no excuses, no blemishes. Every time he reached the biggest stage, he walked away with a trophy. And he took yours in the process. That is the definition of unchallenged supremacy. Stephen A. doesn't highlight this to disrespect LeBron. He highlights it to frame reality. LeBron's 4 rings? They are remarkable. But in the house Michael Jordan built, they only make you a guest. Jordan's dominance doesn't just outshine. It overwhelms. It swallows comparisons. Hold up LeBron's brilliance is versatility. He's a chameleon of basketball. He has been the best passer, the most unstoppable freight train, the most durable star the league has ever seen. He has adapted his game year after year, lifting Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles. At 39, he is still bending defenses, still rewriting the record books, still proving Father Time needs overtime to even hang with him. That is greatness defined by endurance. But Stephen A.'s argument slices right through. Endurance isn't the same as perfection. Longevity is powerful. Yes, but it doesn't erase the scars. The 2011 collapse in Dallas, the finals losses to San Antonio, the battles with Golden State where he needed stacked reinforcements to keep pace. Jordan didn't just endure. He conquered. He didn't just win. He denied the very possibility of defeat when everything was on the line. That's the contrast Stephen A. hammers over and over. LeBron's 4 championships shine bright. But beside Jordan's 6, beside the aura of flawless finals dominance, they dim. They flicker. They remind you that as brilliant as LeBron is, as unbreakable as his career has been, the mountain Jordan built is still taller, sharper, and unclimbed. And that's why, in Stephen A.'s eyes, this debate is over before it even starts. When you talk about GOAT status, the conversation isn't about being great. It's about being untouchable. And untouchable? That's Michael Jordan.
I mean, this dude is a guy that is a 4-time champion, a 4-time league MVP.
What really sets Stephen A. Smith off? What gets his blood pressure rising, his voice booming, his finger pointing at the camera, is this bizarre idea floating around today's basketball culture that calling LeBron James the 2nd greatest player of all time is somehow an insult. Do you people hear yourselves? Do you even realize what you're saying? 2nd. Oh, time. Not 2nd this year. Not 2nd of his generation. Not 2nd in a decade. 2nd in the history of the sport. From the very first peach basket all the way to 2025, out of every giant who's ever stepped on that hardwood, LeBron is slotted right there, just one seat below the throne. And yet, somehow, people still twist their faces like that's disrespect. Let's run this back for context. Bill Russell, 11 rings, the anchor of the Celtics dynasty, the man who defined winning itself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 MVPs. The NBA's all-time scoring king until LeBron finally caught him. Magic Johnson, the most revolutionary point guard to ever live. Larry Bird, a cold-blooded assassin who turned trash talk into an art form. Kobe Bryant, 5 rings, 2 finals MVPs, a mentality so ruthless it became a global philosophy, all of them. Every single one of them. Legends among legends. And LeBron James has climbed over that mountain of greatness to land in the number 2 spot. Second only to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Now you tell me, how on earth is that an insult? To Stephen A., the fact that people even suggest LeBron is being slighted by being ranked second isn't about disrespecting LeBron. It's about this generational obsession with needing a new king. It's about moving the goalposts, about rewriting the rules of legacy so that somehow, some way, Jordan's throne can be snatched. And that right there, that's what Stephen A. will never allow. Because Michael Jordan didn't just earn that throne. He cemented it. He locked it down. He sealed it in blood, sweat, and history. 6 championships. 6 finals MVPs. A perfect 6-0 record on basketball's biggest stage. 5 league MVPs, 10 scoring titles. Defensive Player of the Year. An aura that made Hall of Famers quake in their sneakers. That's not just greatness. That's untouchable. So when people cry foul that LeBron being number 2 is disrespect, Stephen A. fires back with the truth. No, being number 2 is the highest form of praise. Because in a world where Jordan's throne exists, number 1 isn't up for debate. Number 1 is already taken. Number 1 was claimed in the 90s and sealed forever. LeBron's greatness lies in his versatility, his longevity, his ability to adapt, to carry franchises, to dominate across 22 seasons. That's historic. That's iconic. That's worthy of statues, documentaries, and eternal respect. But number 1, that's not a race LeBron is still running. That's not a seat he can slide into with a few more records or a few more years. And here's the part that really makes Stephen A. shake his head. Calling LeBron second doesn't diminish him. It elevates him. It separates him from everyone else who's ever touched a basketball. Second all-time means you surpass Kareem, surpass Magic, surpass Bird, surpass Kobe. That's a crown in itself. But acting like Jordan's throne is still sitting vacant, like it's a lease you can renegotiate, that's the real disrespect. Stephen A. says it plain. LeBron is a runner-up to a ghost nobody's caught. And there's no shame in that. The shame is in pretending that Jordan's seat is still available.
It's so insulting. I mean, LeBron could hardly look at me, and Rich Paul and Maverick and everybody losing their damn mind. I'm number 2 all time in the history of basketball, and that's an insult.
Michael Jordan never let a finals go to a Game 7. Not once. Not ever. Think about that for a second. 6 trips to the finals. 6 championships. And in every single one of them, Jordan closed the door before the other team could even think about hope. Before they could regroup, before they could talk themselves into believing. He didn't just beat his opponents, he ended their dreams decisively. That detail isn't just trivia to Stephen A. It's the essence of why Jordan stands alone. Because that's not about stats, not about efficiency ratings. That's about psychological dominance. That's about never giving your enemies oxygen. Every time the lights were brightest, every time the stakes were at their peak, Jordan said, "Pack it up. You're done. I'm not giving you another chance." Now contrast that with LeBron James. His finals record tells a much different story. Yes, he's had miraculous triumphs, none bigger than 2016 against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, coming back from 3-1, delivering that iconic block on Iguodala. That was legendary, no doubt. But for every miracle, there's been a collapse. The 2011 finals against the Dallas Mavericks, a moment LeBron's critics will never, ever let him live down. A series where he wasn't just beaten, he was outplayed by Jason Terry. That stain lingers, and beyond that, the losses to San Antonio, the struggles against Golden State super teams, the highs and lows define LeBron's finals legacy. survive and thrive sometimes, stumble and fall others. But Jordan, he never let the lows exist. There was no stumble, no collapse, no what if. The man went 6-0, 6 finals MVPs, and never let it come down to a coin flip Game 7. That's perfection. And perfection is the one thing LeBron can't touch. For Stephen A., that's the beating heart of the debate. LeBron's greatness is undeniable, but it's defined by survival. His endured, his adjusted, his overcome, and his lasted. But Jordan's greatness? It was defined by elimination. He didn't just win. He erased the very possibility of failure. He slammed the door shut and locked it before anyone else could step through. And that's why, when Stephen A. raises his voice and says, nobody competes with Michael Jordan, it isn't disrespect to LeBron. It's just the truth. Because when you measure one man against perfection, survival will never be enough.
Tim Lakely, correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan never even allowed the series to get to a Game 7. He never allowed it to get that close. When you talk about the greatness of LeBron James, there have been times where we've debated.
Because to Stephen A., the idea that Giannis, or Luka, or Jokic, or any young star still climbing should be mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan isn't just wrong. It's laughable, and not in a cute way, not in a future potential kind of way. No, it's insulting. It's the exact kind of reckless, short-sighted hype that disrespect the very foundation of what greatness means. Jordan isn't just above today's stars statistically. He's untouchable in reverence, in aura, in dominance. You don't casually toss his name into debates just because someone has a hot playoff run or racks up a viral highlight reel. But in today's media environment, that's exactly what happens. Stephen A. knows what's fueling it. The cycle never stops. Jordan's era. Respect was built slowly, season by season. You earned it over time, through scars and setbacks. Jordan got knocked down by the bad boy Pistons 3 straight years before he rose. He didn't get crowned early. He took his beatings, stayed in Chicago, and fought his way to the throne. Today's era. One big moment, and the anointing begins. Giannis wins in 2021. Suddenly is he already better than Jordan? Luka drops a 60-point triple-double. Is he the most skilled player ever? Jokic collect back-to-back MVPs. Has he surpassed Shaq and Duncan? The media doesn't let players breathe. Social media accelerates everything. TikTok clips, Twitter hot takes, YouTube thumbnails screaming, is he him? It's constant. And in Stephen A.'s eyes, it's not just foolishness. It's dangerous. Because hype is not legacy. And if hype becomes a measure, true greatness gets cheapened. Stephen A.'s fire, his voice rises. His delivery turns into sermon. Do you know what you are doing? You're rushing greatness. You're disrespecting the process. You're disrespecting the throne. Michael Jordan is not a trend. He's not a hashtag. He's not a hot take you toss around because Giannis had a good postseason or Luka lit up December. Michael Jordan is the definition of dominance. He is a standard, the measuring stick, the man who set the bar so high nobody, and I mean nobody, has touched it. And you got the nerve to toss Giannis into that conversation? Premature, reckless, disrespectful. He points at the camera, his voice dropping into that clipped, surgical rhythm. This isn't just about basketball. This is about hierarchy. This is about reverence. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand greatness. Stephen A. isn't even attacking Giannis himself. He makes it clear. The kid is phenomenal. One of the best in the game today, maybe destined for all-time status. But destiny isn't achievement. Potential isn't proof. Jordan didn't become Jordan in a season, or even 3. His greatness was forged in wars. It was tested by rivals like Magic, Bird, Barkley, Ewing, Malone. It was solidified by never blinking on the biggest stage. 6 trips to the finals, 6 rings, no Game 7s. That's not just a resume. That's mythology, and that mythology isn't up for grabs. Not now. Not for Giannis. Not for Luka. Not for Jokic. Not even for LeBron. As decorated as he is, Stephen A. leans forward, eyes locked on the camera, voice booming now. Let me make this plain for everybody watching. Michael Jordan's throne is not vacant. It is not available. It was claimed in the 90s. It was sealed in history. And no amount of hot takes, social media clips, or premature debates is going to change that. If you're talking about GOATs, you're talking about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Everybody else? You are guessing his house. Period. End of discussion.